have to cut that.
Okay, yeah, we can cut. Let's
Hello
just see.
there. Hello, everybody. This is Marcos, and over there is
This is Ben.
welcome to our Count Vine presents The Creepy Hour.
Yes, that's right. So we've decided we would take a whack at podcasting. We've done it before in the past for a separate thing Marcus was doing, but we figured this would be a good way to just, create content and talk about all the stuff in our Count Vine project.
Yeah, so pretty much we're going to be discussing just certain things that we like to do. First of all, yes, Marcos and Ben, we are members of Count Vine, and since we are a horror band, we like to just make a podcast like what he was saying, just discussing stuff we like in general.
Yeah, so we can just kind of honestly we like to talk. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, so what to expect from this podcast pretty much is we're going to talk about things like stuff we like in general and stuff that helps us create music. So think of it like horror films, music, art, bands, processy things. So you expect all of that within our episodes here. So this is basically our introduction to this podcasting world. And what do you think, Ben? What do you want to talk about?
Well, I think it's good to note that we will, like you said, talk about things we like. We will also be talking about things we don't like. That's probably going to be something that comes up a lot. We're going to talk about everything that goes into just making our stuff, and hopefully we can have some friends on board and talk to them and get to know them more, and just spread the legs of what Count Vine is, so everybody can get a little peek inside.
Yes. Because for us, every day is Halloween, except for Halloween.
Except for Christmas.
Yeah,
and Christmas Eve. Those are Christmas and Christmas Eve.
Yeah, that's
and like obviously like other major except for Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving sucks.
yeah. Well, speaking of that, so when does Halloween season technically start for you, Ben?
Well, like you said, it's every day. Like honestly, it's just already going. But for me, like when it actually begins, I'd say probably as soon as the weather shifts. That's when it really feels like Halloween.
Gotcha.
But also I've noticed that because Halloween is such a bigger thing now, like everybody's like really, really into it.
I've noticed
horror.
Yes.
It's just really fun. That more people are on board. It's
Yeah.
kind of becoming like Christmas, where I started noticing Halloween stuff in the stores in like August.
That's what I was
which
gonna
is really
say.
good.
I was gonna say like I want to say mid to late August is where October season start. I feel weird saying this. I feel September feels more Halloween vibes than October does.
Yeah, I see what you mean, because it's like the lead up and people are getting hyped,
Yeah.
and then I don't know what it is about October,
yeah.
but like it just goes by like that.
Yeah.
And it's weird because school starts in September,
True.
So you think it would be like September would just go by, no one would think about it,
Yeah.
but I don't know. October flies by every year.
I feel like I feel like it gets really climatic. Like it's just like September, you're just like, oh man, here it comes. Like here it comes, and then you get to like October, and it just like you're like, wait, that's it? What happened?
Yeah.
Where what happened? Like where's my like massive orgasm? Where is it?
Yeah, we're being edged.
Yeah, like we edged pretty hard. Well, maybe it's because it's our fault too. Maybe we're just so excited. And
But Halloween is like the season of the goons,
it's
the
true.
goons and the ghouls,
And we are a band of goons.
Yeah.
So yeah, that
gooned
makes
out
sense.
ghouls.
We're the ghoul. Yeah, the goon squad here. Just gooning every season violently. But so what do you want to discuss besides our things of Halloween? What should we discuss?
Well, I looked at this list and I literally thought it said goons.
Yeah.
No.
Sorry, we have a list on our table and it says goons.
It says goals.
It says goals, but
said
goons.
goons.
Yeah. Obviously, our goal is in this
To
band
goon.
is to
Is to
goon.
not
Yes, to goon everybody with music. So we're trying to create spooky content because we love spooky stuff with our music as well. So
Yeah. So okay, goals. Let's talk about that. Goals are great to have.
yeah, sure. What do you want to talk about with goals? Yes.
I feel like in a lot of ways we oftentimes have like very like, because we don't like talk about our goals very often.
No.
But then it comes out like when we're like, well, I really want to do this thing, and then the other person's like, yeah, me too. And we're like,
Yeah.
oh.
Oh. And you're just like, why haven't we discussed that before? And you're like, well, it's because we never said anything.
Yeah,
And
no one said anything, so we were just like,
oh.
oh.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think most of the time, our goals kind of go unsaid,
Yeah,
but we just usually kind of intuit them from each other, from the things we like. And
pretty much.
I remember, to
Mm.
me, the biggest goal I remember seeing from you was, I remember the first time we went to Midsummer Scream,
Yeah.
we were like leaving, and you were like, "Oh my god, like this is what I want to do. Like
Oh,
I
yeah.
want to be a part of this."
Yeah, I've always been for me personally, I've always just wanted to. I think there's some part of me just wants to make a horror film, and I think we could all safe to say that because we I think that's why we started this band. We just love spooky things and we like
Yeah.
playing music. So, and a lot of our music, a lot of the music things we follow are spooky heavy too. So
Yeah.
for the most part, I mean, I know we got introduced to like what Misfits, and then later on we got into some more like weirder and more sillier bands. Like what's that one band called? Like there was like Candy Spooky Theater, like a lot of
Yeah.
like a lot of J rock, a lot of J rock.
Oh yeah, a lot of J rock.
Yeah,
But
no,
they're
I know.
reuniting.
I heard, I saw that. And I was like, oh, want to get that.
That's how Abe
Also like
took-
Creature Feature,
Yeah,
and
oh,
then
yeah.
like among other like original stuff. I mean, also later on we got into more like heavier stuff. Really,
Yeah,
you know, you became a goon doomer.
I did.
You became a
Doomed
goon
out
doomer,
goon
and then I became just like a sludgy mess. So became a muddy sludge mess.
But okay? What's the
Um,
thing is, like, I feel like obviously, because I remember something you've said a lot too. Because I mean, when I was growing up too, I wanted to engage in like the more visual mediums of art and stuff like that. Like,
yeah,
I wanted to make comic books or cartoons or
Of course,
movies
yeah,
or video
yeah,
games.
yeah.
But like, I don't know. I did that for a very long time, like
Yeah,
developing those skills as a kid. Obviously, I'm not
yeah,
saying
yeah,
I went to school. This is when I was like very young, up until I was like a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I became a teenager,
Mm-hmm.
I started playing music, and that's when I met you.
Yes.
And I think we both shared the same experience, where it's like we couldn't really draw or like
Yeah.
do visual stuff as much.
Yeah.
So we're like, oh well, we can play music pretty decently.
Yeah.
So we just kind of gravitated towards that.
Pretty
But
much. 'Cause
obviously, our other big thing is like horror and dark
Mm.
media, but also just movies and all kinds of art and entertainment. That's
Yeah.
our big thing, obviously.
And I
We're
think
nerds.
I can safe to say, just like in general, and like I'm speaking this to like the rest of the audience, all three of you. Like I really like. I think for both of us, we really do want to like. We love to jump into different like projects, especially like the creepy stuff. So you know that's always been a thing of us, of just like we want to just create as much content as possible, especially like that kind of vibe. You know, regardless of what it is. But yeah, you know, I was in the same boat with you. Going back to your statement there, like I couldn't draw for the life of me. I couldn't even hold a pencil correctly, really.
Same.
You know,
I still
I
can't.
really can honestly. And like I grew up with like really big fan of like animation and all this other like stop motion and stuff. All that's good, all that goodness. But I just couldn't. But I don't know. Music was kind of easy to a certain degree. So I think we both landed on that, and we both tackle it in a different way, but we do it.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick little break, real quick,
Yes.
just to tend to some technical things, and we'll be
right back.
right
So
back.
here's an advertisement from our sponsor. Hey you. Yeah, you.
Who, me?
Yeah, you. How's it going?
Pretty good.
You want to hear some fun stuff?
Not really.
No. Really? Not some spooky stuff?
I do like spooky stuff. Do you have local music by a local band?
Wow. And a matter of fact, we do actually. We have The Lonesome Ladder Years by us truly, Count Vine.
Yes, that's right. That's both of us here.
Yes. Not a random stranger kid at all, but yes, us. We have a record
Yeah,
out.
no, it's them. I see him.
Yeah, there he is. Look at him go.
There you go.
There you go. He's running. He's running.
Yeah,
He's
he
gone.
took off. He's
outta here. Well,
he's weird.
anywho, we have our record out, The Lonesome Ladder Years. Feel free to check it out. It's on Spotify, Apple Music, whoever uses that, YouTube, and so on.
Yeah, it's about 55 minutes or so of grueling, glorious,
Yes. Spooky,
beautiful, spooky music.
silly content. Yes. If
Yes.
if you have a chance, if you like all that stuff, give it a listen.
Yeah.
See how you like it.
Have you ever wanted to hear what it would have sounded like if Glenn Danzig took like 2 semesters of music theory and met like Tony Iommi at a
Yes.
community college, and they had to do like a Halloween production,
and then gave up on their dreams, and then just like lived in someone's garage.
yeah,
That's us, baby.
that's
Baby.
what it sounds like.
Yeah, that's us. So please feel free to check us out. Links there, links on our page, links all everywhere. So please, give it a listen. Thank you.
Yep. We're back.
We're back.
All right, so this is just it apparently.
Oh God.
My cohort here is telling me that Miss Katy Perry is canceled, and I didn't know about this. So now I just got to know what you know.
All right.
What did
So
she do? Or
I
what
am
happened?
sorry, everybody, if I'm like not getting the correct like information. I apologize, but this is what I remember hearing. She's trying to come back. Obviously, she's been gone for a while.
Where has she been?
I don't know. She hasn't been making music in a while. So she created a song like a while ago. This is pretty old news. She created a while ago, and it was, controversial statement, I guess. I'm sorry. It was supposed to be very empowering, very feminine, all this stuff. It was the complete opposite of that. It was very male gaze, very just complete male energy, and it was really confusing. Maybe I'm just not the correct audience. I don't know. I saw a little bit of the video, and it's pretty risque. I was like, oh, okay, I don't know how to feel about this. And then also the music wasn't that good, unfortunately. And Katy Perry, tends to have some pretty good bops. Like there was like, there's stuff there. The songs are pretty good.
Yeah, she's got some hits.
This one was really mid, as they would say, the youngsters. It was like, I feel like AI would have made it better.
Oh wow!
And then not to mention the producer that made it is also like alleged.
Shane Dawson.
I don't know if I want to. I guess to say allegedly is also like a offender of the other kind.
Oh,
So unfortunately, there's a lot of controversial things in this one. And the worst part of it is, as controversial as this is, the song wasn't that good.
the song just sucks.
And like I think we can safe to say we all have like guilty pleasures of like songs that controversial, but we still play them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
unfortunately,
Everybody listens to people who are canceled.
I'm not gonna lie. Marilyn Manson, I can listen to that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, everybody.
Well, okay. Obviously, we don't endorse his.
No, not
behavior.
at all. Like he deserved getting beat up at Denny's. Like that's his fault.
Yeah.
But
He deserves the way he gained.
exactly. He deserved it. But yeah, that was the controversy. So that's
Interesting. Okay.
in our music world of today.
Yeah.
That's yeah, exactly. That's our.
It's just in
that's
terrible news.
That's in terrible news.
Yeah.
She released mid music.
Well, that's not news. That's just Katy Perry. Although I will say, we've talked about this before.
Yes.
Dark Horse is a really good song. Like Dark Horse is an amazing song.
During her time, she was playing some bops, but recently it's just like, you know what? Let's give youngsters a chance. You know what? Let's give Chaperone a chance. Like
let's let her and Sabrina Carpenter,
exactly,
whoever, all these other girls.
Yeah, let her serve you espresso. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I've been
Shout
hearing
out.
more of their stuff, and I like what I've heard. Okay, I like Good Luck Babe. Obviously, it's a good song, Chaperone, and I like her. But I want to know what people think. To all three of the people listening to this. So that means like Reg, Angie, and like
Possibly.
Charlie, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know.
Shout out.
Shout out, please.
Does her music not sound kind of like novelty music?
It does.
Which is not bad. I'm just kind of like,
Not
this
at
is giving
all.
very like almost like Christian.
Yeah.
It reminds me of like the Christian music I used to listen to when I was a kid, like being brought up that way.
Like I said, no offense to any of this. Like
Oh, yeah.
I dig the music. It's fun. I think it's fun.
That's what I like about it. It's just like
It's
just
fun. And I don't think there's an issue to be fun. Like
Yeah.
there's no reason to like hate.
I don't
But,
think that was like, there's no controversy to that. It's not like,
Not at all.
oh, what, this is supposed to be fun. Oh.
I know exactly. Like it's a deeper. Like it can be like any art can be deep if you really like try. But as long as you're having a good time, I think that's the great part of it too.
Well, okay, so let's talk about that.
Okay,
Let's
sure.
have that conversation.
Let's talk about it.
So that ties into what we were talking about before our little break there, since yes, we are back from our break.
Yes.
So, we were talking about how we both have been fascinated by art and entertainment
of course.
growing up, movies, cartoons.
Yeah.
And then I think obviously, like, kind of we're saying, like, any art can kind of
Mm.
mean anything.
Yeah, of
And it's
course.
like very subjective. It's like
Yeah.
even to the point where someone can put something in an
Mm.
intent into making something, and then
Yeah.
the person perceiving it could take a completely different way.
Oh
and
yeah,
it's
of course.
really fascinating how
I
that is.
always find it fun to be like, I'll go to like a horror convention, right? And I'll be like, I'm a metal looking dude, right? Like I have like long hair, jeans, and like whatever, right? And then the next person I see next to me is a cholo rocking a Chucky shirt.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm pretty sure we have two different backgrounds. If anyone doesn't know, cholo is like a Hispanic male, glasses, maybe sometimes gang related, but sometimes not. Just like the hell, like the what's it called, Chicano culture kind of vibe. That's a person. But like they would wear like like spooky stuff too, and I'm like, oh, it's cool. Like we come from different backgrounds, and we probably think different things, but we both like the same thing. We both get something different out of this.
yeah.
You know?
Well, okay. See, that's a whole other thing too. Is that
Mm-hmm.
a lot of this stuff is meant to be very frightening,
Yeah.
but it's also meant to be like entertaining, and
Yeah.
especially like you're mentioning how like cholos and stuff, and like
Yeah.
being Mexican people as we are,
Uh-huh.
we know for a fact that Mexican people love showing kids horror movies.
Oh yeah. I mean,
like it's like a rite of passage.
yeah. I mean, I've been watching horror films since I was like 5.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mom.
And like that's the thing, like me, like my family, they were like
Yeah.
conservative and like religious and stuff,
Mm.
but we weren't allowed to watch horror movies.
Yeah.
And somehow, like, I don't know what happened, but like we weren't allowed to watch like Chucky,
Yeah.
Jason, any of those movies that all my little friends from school were watching. But fully, we were like watching like Silence of the Lambs, and like, yeah, I
You
I
went
don't
you
know how
went
that's
you
in-
went you went from like campy stuff to like heavy stuff.
Yeah.
Like wow.
So it was like I don't know where the
Mm.
line was, but I like yeah, like there's just something about
Where the wild things are. Like where are they?
yeah, there's just something about like showing little kids really graphic
Well-
horror movies that like our parents and aunts and
We-
uncles and stuff
I
love.
think
I don't
I
know.
I don't know if it's a culture thing, but I feel like it's just a human thing. Like we just love spooky things.
Yeah.
That's been entertaining since like the dawn of like us being in campfires, right?
Yeah,
Just like talking,
mhm.
telling like spooky things, spooky things. And kids love it too. I think we
Oh,
I think
yeah.
I think I can safely say for both of us, like we grew up reading like spooky books and other
Mhm,
spooky content,
mhm.
like we were just talking about it. And not just because we were like shown it, it's like we kind of like once
You
we saw it,
gravitated
we
towards it,
gravitated
yeah.
towards it. To this day, I'll read Goosebumps every now and then. I also read
Oh,
like
I haven't
scary
read those in a
stories to
long
tell
time,
the
yeah.
scary stories to tell in the dark. 'Tis the season.
Yeah.
You know.
Goosebumps. I remember
Mm.
actually. The first like thing I remember really watching and being really kind of scared of
Yeah.
was Goosebumps. I remember we watched Night of the Living Dummy.
Yeah.
And that really scared me.
Love that one.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
great, but I remember being really little and watching it, being scared.
Mhm.
But I also remembered recently, I think the first movie or scene that I recognized as like my first like horror thing I ever saw was actually Beetlejuice, because I remember being very, 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 very young
Mhm.
and watching the Deo scene where like
The
they
sand-
dance
Oh,
and then
sorry,
the
yeah.
hands come out, the shrimp
Yeah,
hands.
the
And I
shrimp
remember
hands.
being really little and seeing that
Yeah, yeah.
and just being very like taken by it.
Oh yeah, of course. I remember. I don't know what it is. It's like these like really what would I say? Like beyond like reality scenes, like scenes that are just kind of like way wild,
Just like bizarre and
bizarre.
stuff. Yeah.
As a child, I'd be like, whoa, what is that? Like
Yeah.
terrifying.
Well, that's the thing is like a lot of this stuff is just very like it just captures the imagination because it is like
Mm.
crazy. It's literally like,
yeah,
ooh, what if like this body part that you have that
Yeah.
you're never gonna see
yeah,
being like an organ is
Yeah.
suddenly like being ripped out and shoved in your face.
yeah, of
And
course.
it's just like, whoa, that's crazy.
I know.
I don't know, but yeah,
Yeah.
obviously horror and
Yes.
it's many like just
Mm.
stimulations and
Oh,
things.
yeah.
Obviously captured us from a very young age, like many
course.
other people.
I mean, like, yeah, and then here we are now in your like
Yeah, literally my
Spooky-
like
spooky
spooky room.
room. filled with like candles and dolls and others
And, like-
skulls and stuff,
Yeah.
pumpkins, a lot of pumpkins. But
And I've seen your room. I've seen
yeah,
the VHS collection.
yes.
And-
We don't have to talk about my collection.
no, we do not.
We don't have to talk about that.
But I also do remember one time, a long time ago,
Yes.
you showed me. You were like, you sent me a picture of that you had the dream from Scary Stories, like right next to your
Oh
bed.
yeah,
And I was like, "What is wrong with you?"
Oh, yeah,
I was
that's-
like,
that's-
"Why? Why would you do that?"
because
You're like,
it's great. I'm a sicko. I mean, I think that's like really good illustration, honestly.
It is,
But I know it's sick because
it's
that's like
horrifying.
one of the most terrifying things in that book.
Yeah, no, that one is like.
And I think that's the third book. Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
it's the third one.
It's terrifying.
That is like the scariest
Yeah.
thing. Sometimes I have dreams about
The Dream.
about those
Oh,
books or
yeah.
similar books, and like it's cool because I'm like in my dream I'm like, oh, there's a really scary picture on the next page. And it's kind of like
Yeah.
AI art.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
really weird. Where like like we how you like obviously like your brain will make things up in a dream and like show
Yeah.
you, but there's just like these weird like amalgamations of images and stuff. I wish I could like access them somehow and like print them out somehow. That'd be really cool.
That would be fun. Maybe in a couple years. Who
Yeah,
knows?
probably they'll have like
At
dream
this point.
visualizers.
Yeah, at this point. But anywho, what else? What else is there?
Well,
mhm.
Okay, so yeah, so about like the music and the art and stuff. Sorry, I keep like
Yeah.
derailing this, but
No, it's okay.
so do you think that your
Mm.
interest in all these like arts and entertainment mediums?
Mhm.
Do you think that? Excuse me.
Sorry, we just chugged Red Bull right now.
Yeah, no, we were dead.
Yeah,
It's been
as
a long
always.
day. It's
Per
been a long
usual.
week.
Per usual.
Yeah,
Hmm.
not a lot of sleep.
Nope. Not at all. No sleep for
This
the
is
wicked.
not a sleepy cabin.
No, it's
It is
not. Let's not bring that up, please. They don't need to know.
Everybody knows what that is.
Shout out to Isaac.
Yeah, Isaac knows what that is.
Anyways.
Shout out to Kevin.
Yes.
Shout out to both of those
That's
peeps.
doodlekevs.org.
Yep.
Anyways, you're saying?
Oh man. So do you? Because like for me, it was like
Mm-hmm.
I realized my interest in music had been like the whole time,
Yeah, yeah.
and then like when I started playing music,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, like I could combine all these things I'm really interested in
Yeah, of course.
into like what I'm doing. This could be like my medium that I get to use to like create
Yeah, yeah.
all to just enjoy these things that I enjoy, these movies and cartoons and video games and things.
Of course.
But like I think that's something we talked about a lot is that like the music and a lot of this stuff
Mm-hmm.
that we grew up with is like have been like the big game changers all the time. Like
Mm-hmm.
obviously all the Disney stuff, like great. Right, Little Shop of Horrors,
Yeah, yeah.
great. You were just talking about Dawn of the Dead, your favorite zombie movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Great soundtrack, like
course.
Goblin, all this stuff.
Oh yeah, and I'll talk all day about Goblin, but
Yeah.
we won't get there.
And then like also like Kingdom Hearts,
Oh boy.
any Square Enix, all the video game Nintendo, like
yeah,
all the
these
freaking Nintendo
soundtracks
games,
and
like,
like
oh my
scores and stuff. Yeah, but you were saying though.
well, that's what I'm saying is that like
Mm-hmm.
at what point did you kind of realize that you were like, oh, like I can do music that like really I can like bring all this type of imagery and things that I like, and I can funnel it into this specific form of expression, and I excel at it.
Good question. I feel like at a young age, since like I was always just really into the arts and stuff, and I was like a youngster collecting CDs for the first time and all these other things, and I was just like, I love all this art stuff, and I want to do something, but I don't know what to do. But I just gravitated towards an instrument. Honestly, it wasn't until like I borrowed a buddy's instrument for like almost a year. Eventually, I got my own, and then I looked into all that stuff, and sure enough, I started playing. And it wasn't the fact that I was like, oh, I'm like okay at it. It was more like, oh, this is really fun. Like I love doing this. Like this is really enjoying for me. Like I like learning, and I like playing stuff that I like to listen to and stuff. And then later on, as you get creative, as like you start the creative juices flowing and stuff, you're just like, oh wow, this is, I'm voicing stuff in my head, and I'm like, now I'm picturing things. And then the way I tend to process writing now, before then, it was like, oh, I'm picturing this. I think if I write this kind of makes sense what I'm thinking in my head of like what I picture, and then therefore like I would write things based on different like, and at this point of the story something happens, and at this point of the story this happens and stuff, and then that's kind of how I wrote point A to point B to point C. So at that point I think that's kind of how I started becoming more of just like writing stuff that I wanted to write at that point. What do you think?
Yeah, no, yeah, that's kind of how it was for me too.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, it's just kind of weird how like stuff just develops like
Yeah.
randomly. Like one day you're like, oh yeah, I guess I should play a guitar. Sounds fun. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Like, and then you're like, oh, huh, I like can totally do this. Like, it's like naturally just very intuitive. Too.
Yeah, yeah.
Obviously, I'm not saying like we like, sat down and we're busting out like
No,
Prodigy stuff, but like
I didn't.
it's
yeah.
different. It's like when you spend a lot of time being really
Mm.
bad at a lot of stuff, you
Yeah.
know, especially like in school and whatnot, when you're like, oh god, like I can't do anything,
Yeah, of
and then
course.
you have something you're just like, oh, this actually kind of easy,
Yeah, of
or like
course.
I have the it makes sense to me, I guess is what it is.
Because for me, it's like I didn't find it. At first, I didn't find it super easy. At first, I struggled a bit, but the thing was like I just enjoyed it. I really
Yeah.
did. I really just enjoyed playing the instrument, and a lot of like my favorite things about music was like leady guitar stuff. So I was like, oh, this is really cool. I like this. And then sure enough, I kept playing it and playing it to the point that I'm like, oh, I can finally play a chord for once. The infamous F major chord, the one everyone struggles. I finally learned how to play that thing, and then I was like, oh, cool. Now I can play the rest of these things, and it was fun. I've just enjoyed it, and to this day, I still enjoy it to a degree. But now there's
To a
more
degree.
to a degree. 'Cause
I think you mean with a degree.
with yeah, we don't have to talk about that either. But we don't have to talk about my degrees. But the thing is I enjoy other instruments as well, and more color and stuff. But guitar is always my favorite at this point.
Very nice. Very nice.
Very nice. Well, is there anything else you want to discuss, Ben?
You know what?
Yes.
There's plenty to discuss, but there's plenty of time in the future.
Exactly. So the next time we have our next podcast, we're gonna probably talk about another interesting topic that we have on our many list of things to do. So, want to take us out here, Ben, with our outro?
Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us on our flagship session, Six Sesh, bro.
Yeah, six
And,
six sesh.
it's
My
been-
crystal's being charged.
Oh yeah, our JO crystals.
That's not. Hopefully, no one gets that either.
They are
Yes.
they're going.
Yeah.
They're
So
like salt lamps or
Yes.
whatever.
So yeah. So we'll be releasing these more frequently. So starting after this episode, we'll be putting them out pretty frequently. So stay tuned and stuff.
Yeah. Stick around and hear us out, and yeah, we'll be around.
Alrighty. Well then, that's us. This is the creepy hour. Hopefully you guys will. Adios.